Aloha, everybody. Welcome back to Tikiyaki TV. I'm your host, Jim Baki, and we're going to do a little fun show today about something I only discovered recently, or was hipped to recently. I was at my vending booth at Tiki Oasis this year, and Shag, the artist, came by, and he did the Tropica album cover, and I've known Josh for a while. And I gave him a single of the Hawaiiana Brass single we just put out recently, where it's kind of me doing music in the style of Herb Alpert with horns, Tijuana Brass with horns. And he mentioned to me about these records that came out in the mid to late 60s. I think it must have been a regional thing, because I never saw any of this living back in New York at that time, or found any of these records in thrift stores. But there are these Tijuana Taxis, and it's Tasty Freeze presents, but they were done for promotional records for businesses, put out by a label called Mark 56. You can see that right there, Mark 56, and with this amazing artwork. And I guess the idea was, promote your business with this, basically a Tijuana Brass tribute album. And I'll get into the songs later, but it's a Tasty Freeze presents Tijuana Taxi. Now, they did them for everybody. Alpha Beta Markets, this one for Der Wiener Schnitzel, which is funny because Der Wiener Schnitzel is more of a German, type of business. Obviously, we know Wiener Schnitzel, the hot dog business. But this one was for Wiener Schnitzel. They did them for Alpha Beta Markets. They did them for Taco Bell, which makes the most sense. I have a list of some of them, and there's a lot. Tasty Freeze, Culligan Water, which one of my favorites. I have to get that record. Has a really cool van on the cover. Global Van Lines, another really cool one. Wiener Schnitzel, I said Taco Bell. Spud Nuts, Dogs and Suds, Pepsi Cola, Acme, Markets, Pet Ice Cream, 76 Unical gasoline, to name a few. And then these records, they also came under different titles. One was Tijuana Party, and that's it's Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's got the Colonel on the cover. That one's really interesting. But anyway, I'm just talking about these couple records that I got, because it's all the same record or two records. But if you really want to do a deep dive into what my friend Jorge from RadioFree Bakersfield did a great podcast where he plays the music, and he had guests, or also my friends, the Ding Dong Devils, pick songs, and it was called Mexploitation. And I guess because of the popularity of the Tijuana Brass, all of this Tijuana-based, Mexican mariachi-based pop became really popular and became kind of a cultural thing. So Jorge did a great show in this, playing all this different music, and the couple of the members of the Ding Dong Devils picked various songs. But this record, and this, like I said, lots of branded releases, but there's also one where there's no brand, and it's just a Mark 56 presents Tijuana Taxi. This one I have is the Tasty Freeze, because I really love this cover. The artwork was all like this. It was all super cool. And the song list on here is, it's basically, like I said, a Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass tribute. And actually, the inscription on the back here, the little quote on the back here says, as you can see it, and then I'll read it. Here's an album of great hits made famous by you-know-who, as played by some of the finest recording musicians in America. We know you'll enjoy it. So, yeah, basically they're like, we're doing a Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass ripoff. And, these records, for depending on who they were done for, became personalized. Like this Der Wiener Schnitzel one has the story of Wiener Schnitzel. This is the 100th store, I guess over 100 stores. A toe-tapping new stereo album with 10 big hits performed by top Hollywood musicians. The authentic Tijuana sound is thus assured. Okay. And so we have this version of on here, and so there's a couple of songs on here that were not Tijuana Brass songs. So we have side one, A Taste of Honey, Lonely Bull, Chile Verde, which is not a Tijuana Brass song. He has a song called Green Peppers, which they also did on here. But Chile Verde is, again, just taking that Tijuana Brass sound, having someone write a song. Pretty good song, actually. We got Spanish Flea on here, Zorba the Greek. Pretty good version of Zorba the Greek, considering how hard that song is to play. Side two has Tijuana Taxi. It's kind of a slightly slower version of it, still in the style, very much like the Herb Alpert version. Green Pepper is a pretty good version of that. El Garbanzo, again from Whipped Cream and Other Delights. Obviously, that record, the popularity of that record, I talked about it in that episode that I did about it. It was all over the place. So, of course, this is a total jump on the bandwagon. El Toro, which is not a song on any Herb Alpert record either, and it's a pretty good one. And then Third Man Theme, which was, Herb did on, I forget which record that song is on. But I got to say, it's a pretty damn good Herb Alpert, the Tijuana Brass tribute record. Who's ever doing the main trumpet part as Herb, I don't know if it's one person or they had various people. It doesn't say who the players are. It just says the George Garabedian players, I think they say it's by. And it says produced by George Garabedian. I guess he was the guy that ran Mark 56 Records. The band is pretty damn good. I got to say, the versions of these songs, they're not recorded quite as good as the, Herb Alpert versions, especially when you get to, Going Places and Whipped Cream. Those records sound really good. You can tell these are done in a little bit lower budget studio, probably a smaller room. They're a little drier sounding. The playing on it, pretty damn good, I gotta say. And there's so many versions of this record, again, with different titles. Some of them Tijuana Taxi, most of them Tijuana Picnic. I mentioned that with the Kentucky Fried Chicken with the Colonel on the cover. They did a Christmas version of Herb Alpert style Christmas songs, not the same as the Herb Alpert Christmas record, which was very good. That had voices, all kinds of stuff. They actually did Christmas volumes 1 and 2. So there's a lot going on here. But this One More Time record, again, this is, and I'll read the quote on the back of this. This album was recorded especially for our Alpha Beta customers. The most talented musicians in the record industry were employed for this record. Absolutely nothing was spared to make this stereo album the best in current songs, arrangements, performance, and sound recording. This, in other words, just another way of trying to pass on to our good customers a very special value at a very low price. Oh, and by the way, there are 2 selections which were created just for this album. One is entitled Yes Sir, That's My Alfie, and the other one is called Don't Throw Bananas at Me. And they are both very good songs. The Yes Sir, That's My Alfie, very much in the upbeat Tijuana Brass style, like a song like Cinco de Mayo, Freckles, or Brasilia, kind of that upbeat partying kind of Tijuana Brass. And the Don't Throw Bananas at Me, and this kind of exemplifies a little bit that these records came out late 60s, because it has a really kind of groovy go-go beat to it. And it sounds like something you'd see in a Brady Bunch or Partridge Family montage. Has that real television, the whole things that just sound like that TV era of brass pop music on television. And it's a great tune. Shorty Rogers did a lot of the incidental music for the Partridge Family and even wrote a couple songs. And it has that kind of feel to it. It's real groovy and go-go-y. So the Don't Throw Bananas at Me is a really cool song. And Yes Sir, That's My Alfie. Again, not any songs on Tijuana Brass records. These were in the style of. But this particular record, the One More Time, has different songs on it. It has Casino Royale, which we know is a great Herb Alpert of Tijuana Brass. Yes, sir. That's my Alfie. I mentioned The Sound of Music. Really cool version of that. Georgie Girl. Really great version of that. All instrumental, done with, Herb Alpert style trumpet playing. Up, Up, and Away, My Beautiful Balloon. Obviously, we know the Fifth Dimension. And that completely lends itself to this style of like cheesy lounge pop. When I say cheesy, I mean the good kind of cheese. It's like really serious, good Velveeta going on here. The song I Got Rhythm, who could ask for anything more? So I think it's a show tune. Good version of it. The More I See You, I don't know who did that one. I don't know if that's a Tijuana brass one or not. It might just be a pop song. Somewhere My Love, the theme from Dr. Zhivago, good version. Born Free, very, very Tijuana brass style version of Born Free. The next one, Music to Watch Girls By, a song I've been playing with Tikiyaki Orchestra and 5 for years, and a very good version of it. Really good, just classic, just like Herb would do it. Really well done. And again, Don't Throw Bananas at Me. I mentioned that. So you get at least 2 records worth. Again, and this one retitled for or repurposed for whatever business they were selling it to, whether it be Taco Bell, Unical Oil, 76 Oil. Spud Nuts is a really great cover with this style kind of car on the back, but with big donuts for back tires. Really cool. Again, I want to get the Culligan water one because it has a really bitchin' van on it. I'll put some of these graphics up, but these records are a lot of fun. They're, obviously, they're not as good as the Herb Alpert versions, but they are damn good and they're fun and they're super cheesy in the best possible way. Still well played, not poorly recorded, just not recorded quite as good as the Herb Alpert records, but fun records, totally worth collecting. You probably find them in thrift stores. This One More Time record, my neighbor Johnny lives next door to me. He's a bit of a record collector and swapper, and he found this, and he went and looked up the value and sold it for me for the value instead of just giving it to me, because I know these records you could find them for 99 cents, but he sold it was worth the $8 though. So again, if you're into this kind of like Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass and, this Mexploitation, like I said, go listen to that RadioFree Bakersfield. I'll put the link. It's a great episode with lots of cool music. It's super fun, super upbeat. Just a lot of fun. Good stuff. I would, if you see one, pick one up because they're totally worth it. Again, for the covers, the cover art alone, just amazing. Look at this cover art. This cover art, you got the Wiener Schnitzel building and they're all playing inside the building. Just amazing, like kind of Mad Magazine cover art. I don't know who did this. I think on Jorge's show, he talks about a name that gets mentioned, and they did reach out to the estate of that artist. I guess he did some other sort of famous art, but I don't know what he tells you on the show. But again, look at this with the little dog right there. And, you had the Tijuana Taxi and the really cool looking Tasty Freeze building right there. And the logo, hamburgers, hot dogs, 50 cents, classic stuff. And the music's worth putting on at a party or in your tiki bar, whatever. Really fun. So that's it. Tijuana Taxi, man. Go find one of these records if you're into that kind of horned Tijuana brass pop. It's fun. It's fun to listen to it and compare it to the Herb versions. Some of them are close. Some of them are just okay. They did maybe their own spin on it. The trumpet player sometimes goes off the reservation a little bit, does it his own way. It's very cool. I like it. And it has a classic like 1960s cheesy lounge pop sound to it, which I really dig. So anyway, there you have it. Tijuana One More Time. Wiener Schnitzel presents Tijuana Taxi. Tasty Freeze presents Tijuana Taxi. There's a lot of these, and I think I might want to start collecting them. And then for the Christmas versions, there are 2 different Christmas albums, And I think I'm going to do that, save those for a Christmas show. I have to get the records, and maybe I'll get the Herb Christmas record and the two, of these Mark 56 Christmas versions and talk about them then, but, not right now. But anyway, guys, if you like this stuff, like and subscribe to the channel. And we're going to be doing more of this. If you got any questions, just email tikiyakitv@gmail.com, and I will answer whatever questions I can for you. And that's it. Tijuana Taxi. Again, this is Jim from Tikiyaki Orchestra, Tikiyaki TV. Adios.